Hey guys, good morning, or whatever time it might be when you're watching this video. Today I'm gonna give a little love back to my Ecotec. For about the last year and a half, it's been giving me nothing but love in the Baja. And to be honest with you, I kind of did the swap, put it in here, been using it since then, and have not really had to look back and really do anything to it. I did the wiring harness to it, but there was nothing actually wrong with the old wiring harness. I just wanted a much nicer wiring harness. I've checked the oil a couple times. Obviously, I've cleaned the air filter a couple of times, but I have not even changed the oil since I put this swap in here. It's got probably about 800 miles on it since I put it in here. And if you watch my channel on a regular basis, you know that I'm in the middle of, hopefully within the next month and a half, going to be moving to a new house with a bigger garage where I'm going to have a lot more projects going on and a lot more videos. But in the meantime, I'm in a little bit of a holding pattern because I've shipped off a lot of my tools to a storage facility just so that now that we have this house on the market, it doesn't look as congested. And I can't really tear the Baja apart and do anything too serious because, again, if we have people walking through looking at the house, I need it to look somewhat presentable. So for about the last month and a half here, I'm kind of relegated to just little tiny things on this Baja. However, what I want to do today is change the oil filter. I want to pull the valve cover off so I can do a Valvetrain inspection. There are some rumors out there that these Ecotec engines cannot return oil at the front of the block. This one indeed can. I want to take this valve cover off, show you guys that there are ports in the front of the engine for the oil to return to. And my harmonic balancer on the back of the engine here is bent. It's been that way since I got it. I don't know what happened, why it's bent, but it wobbles a little bit when it spins, and I don't like that. It bothers me, so I bought a new balancer for 60 bucks. I figure that's pretty good insurance, knowing that the serpentine isn't bouncing around or anything like that. So while we're doing this, we're gonna put that on, and that'll be it. So I already fired her up. I turned her around, backed her into the garage because it's the middle of summer right now. If I'm working out there in the sunlight, it's hotter than Hades. So let's tear this all apart, drain the oil. I got to pull a couple of components off to get to the oil filter. So let's do that, and then when I get everything torn apart, we can look at the Valvetrain and at the oil flow issue. Okay guys, so here's what we're looking at here. I just took the valve cover off. If you noticed in the video clip there, me struggling getting that valve cover off, the valve cover for this engine actually comes off really easily, but this bar on my chassis right here, you know, when I designed this originally, I designed it around the air-cooled motor. This bar is so close to the valve cover that if you see on this camshaft here, I actually have to rotate the engine over until that little gap is there so that I can get the valve cover out of there. So it's really tight. It does come off, obviously, and I was very lucky that it fit, but it's very tight. That's why you saw me kind of struggling and wiggling it around and whatnot. But either way, I hope you guys can see some of this. For starters, I haven't poured any oil in here yet, and hopefully you guys can see there is pools, like all these bolt heads have oil in them. Things like this bolt, if you can see, that has oil sitting on the top of it, and that seems to be consistent from the back to the front, from the left to the right. There seems to be consistent oil getting pumped or spraying or whatnot up here. Because one thing I was maybe a little bit concerned with was that because the engine was angled up 13 degrees, the oil would not be getting up here consistently. But I'm really comfortable with the oil distribution up here. It looks really good. Another thing I was a little worried about is because my oil is probably hardly ever returning off the back here. If the timing chain and these devices in here, this engine has the VVT, the variable valve timing. These are the mechanisms that they get oil pressure and they'll actually rotate back and forth a little bit. So that's those. These are where the solenoids go that activate that VVT. They're full of oil. There's oil like on this little bearing cap here. You know, there's oil on top of there. So I'm good with that. I don't think I have a problem here at all. Obviously, oil return is fine because I don't have pooled up oil back here. It's consistent throughout. So that's great. So what I'm going to do now, you can't see it because when I was even searching for it with a flashlight and a mirror, you cannot see the oil return passages back here. You can clearly see them. You guys probably can't with the camera, but there's humongous passages on the front here where the oil can go this way, and then it just makes it back into the timing chain sections here. So there's ample flow for oil to get back at the front here. But the issue that people say is that with these engines, if you have them angled back this way, people say that all of the oil return is on the front here with the timing chain, and that it just pulls up. It cannot make its way back in the back. And at least with this block, which I'm pretty sure is the LE5, it's out of a 2007 Chevy Cobalt. It's the 2.4 liter with the VVT and the E67 computer. There definitely are passages back here that oil gets back without any problem. Obviously we're seeing that right now because I don't have significant oil pooling up here. Right now I can't even point the angle that way because the sun is glaring in the garage so brightly, but I've got the front of the Bug jacked up so that the engine is level so that I could drain the oil. So I'm going to lower the front so that it'll sit more back like this, and this will be raked at least 13 degrees, and then I'm going to pour in my oil right in the top here all over the Valvetrain so that we can watch it actually go to the front of the engine and make its way down in there. That's what I did initially just to prove to myself that it can return oil from the front, but I'm going to do it again so that you guys can watch it and see it. Alright, so you guys can see now this, right now the camera is level and you can see the engine is raked back. It's 13 degrees in my design, but the way I'm backed up on my driveway and into the garage, there's probably a couple more degrees, so I'm probably between 13 and 15, 20 degrees right now. So it's severely angled back. So I'm gonna set this camera up shooting down in there, and we'll pour the oil in and see what happens. Okay guys, hopefully you got some pretty good visibility there. I got a light going here. This is the front of the engine. It's angled down this way. I'm gonna pour some oil kind of all over this stuff, and hopefully you guys can see that it's going to all flow that way, but it's not gonna build up. It is gonna drain back. So if I pour right here, pour kind of quick, you can actually see, hopefully you can see, it's actually forming a little river going back towards the back of the engine there, but it's not accumulating. It flows down. I mean, I'm pouring a lot in really quick right now. And it's about there's a lot of oil in there, but you can see it all goes down. It flows no problem. I mean, it flows quick. When the engine's running, it's not pumping that much oil this quickly up to the top of the engine there. So anyways, that completely satisfies me that the oil goes that way and it flows down without any issues. Alright guys, that's it. This job is done. The oil has been changed. The oil filter has been changed. I did a Valvetrain inspection. I showed you guys that at least this engine, the LE5, can drain the oil back towards the front or towards where it mates the transaxle without any problems. I also replaced the harmonic balancer. That is not wobbling like it was, so that was a success. I did realize when I went to install the new one that my torque wrench is one of the tools that I packed up and temporarily is gone. I'm supposed to torque that to 75 foot-pounds. I'm not really worried about it right now because I'm not going to do much driving with this bug until we get into the new house. And when we do get into that new house and I'm unpacking some of my stuff, I'll torque that to 75 foot-pounds, so that shouldn't be a major problem. So I know I'll have a little lull in videos until I'm in the new shop, but when I do get into the new shop, there's really a lot of projects that I want to get into, so I should have a lot of video content coming. So in the meantime, guys, if you're working with an Ecotec or if you have an Ecotec, I hope some of this information helps you guys out. If you got any questions, hit me up in the comments. Thanks for watching the video. Hopefully it's helping you guys with whatever you're working on, and hopefully I see you in our next video. Take care.